Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for dropping by and giving me your time. I am Erick Daniel Coughlin, and this is another episode of Just My Thoughts. So tonight, we're going to take the time to do my Week 10 picks for the NFL. That's right, we are in Week 10 approaching this Thursday night on Thursday Night Football. We just got done with Monday Night Football last night. Kansas City knocked off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which concluded Week 9 of the NFL. Which leads to one thing, my record. I went 9-6 this last week, which is crazy, right? Because you'd think I would go 9-7, but apparently there was one team with a bye. I haven't figured it out. I've reran my numbers and reran my numbers and reran my numbers. I thought I went 10-6, but I counted it down and I counted it down and I counted it down, and everything points to me being 9-6. So I don't know how just one team gets a bye. I don't know how that works. But apparently, that is what happened. And for the peak's sake that that's not what happened, then I guess I went 10-6. But we're gonna say that I went 9-6 because that's what I counted 4 or 5 times. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into this week's matchups. Week 10 matchups. Here we go. I got my handy dandy notebook right here. You guys can't see it, that's fine. But I've got it right here, right in front of me. Here we go. Thursday Night Football. We got the Bengals versus the Ravens. I'm going to take the Bengals. I don't care what the Ravens' record is. I don't care that they're playing in Baltimore. What I do care about is Joe Burrow is in the top 5 leading passers in the NFL in yards. Joe Burrow is in the top 5 leading NFL passers in touchdowns. Joe Burrow is leading top 5 QBs in QBR. So I'm going to pick Joe Burrow and those Cincinnati Bengals to march right up in there into Baltimore and spank that ass. I'm taking Cincinnati over Baltimore. How you doing? Now, we've got what I like to call the Toilet Bowl. We all love the Super Bowl as NFL fans. And even people that don't like the NFL still love the Super Bowl. This is what I call the Toilet Bowl. We have the New York Giants versus the Carolina Panthers. And I'm going to take Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. We got the Patriots versus the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears. We have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I understand that the 49ers are expecting Christian McCaffrey to come back, but I also understand that Christian McCaffrey has been out all year long. This is going to be his very first game back, and Tampa Bay has been playing lights out against everybody. Good teams, bad teams, the good, the bad, the ugly. Tampa's been giving everybody everything they got. Tampa themselves are a lot beat up. They've got like 5 significant injuries across the board. They got a couple of guys on defense. They got a couple of guys on offense. They got a special teamer. They're hurt and they're beat up, but they're playing hard. And Baker's making the case that he's in the top 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm going to take the Bucs over the Niners. We got the Broncos versus the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs. We got the Bills versus the Colts. I'm going to take the Bills. We got the Steelers versus the Commanders. I'm going to take the Steelers. X that. So I did these picks last night so I can record this episode today. I'm going to take the Commanders. The Commanders had just picked up the cornerback from New Orleans, big time Marshawn Lattimore. They just picked up Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints. I think that helps their defense. I think their defense is already good. That just made them better. I do think that they're overdue to get spanked, and I do think the Steelers are a team that can spank them. I'm not going to redo nothing. I'm taking the Steelers. Always go with your gut, right? Your first instinct is always the correct instinct. That's what they tell you, so I'm going with Steelers. We got the Vikings versus the Jaguars. Shocker. I'm going to take the Jaguars. I don't care what the Jaguars' record is. I don't care what Minnesota Vikings' record is. I know the Vikings. I don't too much know about the Jacksonville Jaguars liking to lose, so I'm going to pick the Jaguars. We got the Falcons versus the Saints. I'm going to take the Falcons. The Dirty Birds are going to win that division. Sad but true. I really thought that Baker is going to win that division, but they're running out of time. I don't think they got enough time to win that division. I'm going to take the Falcons. We got the Titans versus the Chargers. Who you think I'm going to pick? I'm not picking the Titans. I'm going to pick the Chargers. We got the Jets versus the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Jets. Hey, interesting thing, though. The Jets had traded Mike Williams today to the Steelers. That's another reason why I got the Steelers on the board. That's why I didn't change my mind, because even though I was thinking about Marshawn Lattimore, I got to thinking about Mike Williams. I just didn't want to talk about it, so I'm talking about it now. The Jets let go of a weapon. That's fine, because they picked up a weapon. Do you guys remember them going out and getting Devontae Adams? That allowed them to let go of Mike Williams. Also allows them to give Pittsburgh a lights-out target for Russell Wilson or Justin Fields or whoever the fuck they want to play at quarterback. I don't think they know. I don't think the world knows, and I think it's working in their favor. All that being said, they got Mike Williams, and I'm going to take the Steelers. No, stop. The Jets. We're talking about the Jets and the Cardinals. Ladies, forgive me. Gentlemen, Muscusi, I'm going to take the Jets over the Cardinals. Eagles versus Cowboys. Now listen, gut tells you Eagles. Everything says Jalen Hurts so good. Jalen Hurts having a career year. Jalen Hurts might be talked about as the MVP at the end of the NFL season. That's what people are talking about right now. But what people are not telling you is it's not all of Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley's having a good year over there. Their defense is lights out, playing really fast, really hard, really strong. It's not so much that the Jalen Hurts show is running the damn show. It's more along the lines of the Philadelphia Eagles looking like a very dominant team. So I should be picking the Eagles. But I'm going to pick the Cowboys. Hey, listen, division matchups, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what's going to happen in division battles. And I tell you this, when it comes to division battles, excuse me for a second. When it comes to division battles, I do think Dak Prescott holds his own, so I'm taking Dak Prescott to win this weekend. We got the Lions versus the Texans. I'm going to take the Texans. I'm going to take C.J. Stroud. I'm going to take Tank Dell. I'm going to take Nico Collins, and I'm going to take Joe Mixon. Somebody's got to smack Detroit around, and I think it's going to be Houston. I'm going to take the Houston Texans over the Detroit Lions this weekend. How you doing? Finally, we have the Dolphins versus the Rams, and I'm going to take the Rams. I just don't have faith in the Dolphins. I don't like nothing about the Dolphins. I don't care about Tyreek Hill. I don't care about Jalen Waddle. I don't care about Raheem Mostert. I don't care about Arcan. I don't care what Miami is selling over there. They're not even the dominant Florida team. The dominant Florida team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm not picking Miami almost ever, ladies and gentlemen. Almost ever. I'm not picking Miami Dolphins to win. How you doing? So that means I'm picking the Rams this weekend. Which breaks down the big question of what are my top tier 5 matchups in week 10 of the NFL. That's what everybody wants to know. That's what everybody's asking themselves. And that's exactly what I'm going to deliver. Week 10 must-see matchups. Steelers and Commanders. The reason why both teams are red hot. Both teams are leaders of their division. And no one really, Commanders came out of nowhere. I expected them to be good, but everyone expects me to be wrong, and I wasn't wrong. As a matter of fact, I'm like 70% almost always right. So like I'm a 70% chance that I'm telling you guys the truth every time I'm talking to you guys. 70% chance I'm telling you the truth. How you doing? So, matchup number 2, Lions versus the Texans. The reason why this is important is because I just stated somebody has to beat the Texans. The Lions. Someone has to bark up and show that the whole entire NFL that these guys are getting lucky, that these guys are not what they think they are. They got Jahmyr Gibbs running all over the place. They got David Montgomery running all over the place. They got, Amon-Ra St. Brown catching everything that's thrown to him. They got Jared Goff playing like he's the MVP. Everything looking good for Detroit, which is why I'm picking them to lose. Listen, the Texans are a legit team. Yeah, they just lost Stephon Diggs. I understand that. But they were good before they got Stephon Diggs. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. They were the team to beat last year. Like the big surprise team that no one really thought were going to do nothing. Did something. That was the Houston Texans. And they've been doing it all year this year, just like they did last year. I'm picking the Texans. We already talked about that, but it's a must-see matchup. Detroit versus Houston. Another one. How about New York Jets versus the Arizona Cardinals? Well, why is that so important? It's so important because this might be Aaron Rodgers' last year as a starting quarterback in the NFL. This might be Aaron Rodgers' last year in the NFL. And Aaron Rodgers wants to prove that he's still got it. Aaron Rodgers wants to prove that he's no slouch. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to just kind of lean away from the camera, but I'm watching this little puppy right here. So we got some puppies chewing on some shit, so I had to check that out. That being said, the Cardinals are right the same, right? So you got the Jets doing their thing. Aaron Rodgers trying to prove he still got it. He just got Devontae Adams a couple weeks ago. They just let go of Mike Williams. Garrett Wilson this past weekend, week 9, Garrett Wilson had a time of his fucking life. That defense Thursday night proved that they can shut down anybody. No matter how they play in the first half, they can turn it on and win the game in the second half. The Jets are finally looking like the Jets, which is why I'm going to be picking the Jets, which is why I did pick the Jets, which is why the Jets are must-see TV. This is going to be one of the last years to ever watch Aaron Rodgers do the damn thing. He's trying to do the damn thing. So it's no disrespect to Kyler Murray. It's no disrespect to the Arizona Cardinals. And not that I think that they have a dominant defense, but they got a pretty good one. Not that I think that they got a dominant offense, but they got a pretty good one. I think they're a pretty good team, but I think they're going to get smacked this weekend. Must-see TV. Jets versus Cardinals. And how about the Vikings versus the Jaguars? I think that's must-see for reasons of this. First of all, the Vikings are a surprise team. Come out of nowhere this year. I did not expect them to win more than 4 games all year, and I take that to my heart and to my soul, to the bottom of the barrel. I did not think that Minnesota was going to be strong at all. How do you be strong whenever you let go of Kirk Cousins? And Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know, but they figured it out. They took a trash quarterback, Sam Darnold, and they turned him into a superstar all because of Justin Jefferson. It seems like they're a one-team show, a one-man show. It seems like the ball's going to Justin Jefferson 13 times a game. Just stop that guy and you'll beat him. Except their defense plays extremely well, which is surprising because I thought their defense was overrated last year. And as a matter of fact, I thought, that whole team was overrated last year. I thought the only thing good about that team was their quarterback. They got rid of that quarterback and they're fucking killing everybody. That's why they're must-see TV. That being said, Jacksonville Jaguars got to figure it out, right? Right. Why? I'll tell you why. Because out of 4 out of the last 5 years, they've won that division. 3 out of the last 4 years, they've won a playoff game. This year, they're looking like they are a college football team. I don't know what happened to Jacksonville. I don't know, they didn't have just like a terrible offseason. They didn't have a great offseason, but they didn't have a terrible one. It seems like they let go of everybody, but that's not true. They really only lost a couple of players. They're practically the same exact team they have been for like the last half decade, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe the NFL is caught up with who they are and what they're trying to do, and the NFL is like, hey, you know what? You guys are overrated. You guys fucking suck. We're going to prove it to you by kicking your ass all year long. That's what's been happening, and that's why I got them on the list. That's why I picked them to win. I think that at some point in time, when you're as good as what you've proven to be, you've got to show that you're still that good. You got nothing to prove, but you got everything to lose. You got your back's against the wall. You got to start stacking up W's. You might as well start beating some teams, and some of them better be good teams, which is the Vikings. That for must-see TV, Vikings versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Go Florida. I'm just kidding. I ain't got nothing for Florida. I'm just kidding. And last but not least, the Toilet Bowl. Listen, we all love the Super Bowl, so you might as well, as the NFL fans, if you're a football guy, if you're a guru, if you're just a guy who's thrills and chills, you might as well accept the Toilet Bowl like you accept the Super Bowl. You might as well, especially if your team's not playing during the playing time. If the Giants and the Panthers are playing at noon, and your team doesn't play till Sunday Night Football, there's no other game to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes it's the most fun games to watch are the 2 worst teams in the league. That's why they're on the list. That's why they're must-see TV. That's why they have made my top 5 this week as to must-see, because it's the Toilet Bowl, baby. It's the Toilet Bowl, baby. Someone's got to win. They're the 2 worst teams in the NFL. One of them is going to get a W. Maybe no one gets a W. Could go down as a fucking tie. Both teams could draw 17-17. I suck, you suck, we all suck. Let's go to the bar and get a couple of drinks and talk about it. There's that puppy, by the way. Her name is Ruby. Hey, Ruby, watch this. Ruby. See, she's already at my feet. You want to see Ruby, everybody, before we call it a night? Give me. Look at this precious little thing. Look at this precious little baby. That's my precious little baby girl. That's my precious little baby girl. Her name is Ruby Dew Coughlin. RDC. That's my baby. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard and you enjoyed what you see, always feel free to cash at me, Erick Daniel Coughlin. #Coughlin Pride. Have a nice day.